Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Alumni Info Session for the Fulbright FLTA program. Today's session is about what to expect during your Fulbright journey if you are selected to go to the US for the FLTA program. And our agenda for today, we will have the introductions for AJ and Kausalya, who are our FLTA alumni. And they will be going through on what to expect during your Fulbright journey. And we will have a Q&A session, and we aim to end at 4 p.m. And since I do have AJ and Kausalya here, I'll let them introduce themselves. So over to you, AJ.
Hello, I'm nervous. Diba? My name is Ahmad Junaidi, as you can see, but people call me AJ. I was the Fulbright language teaching assistant um, 2 years ago. And I went in August 23 and came back in May 2024. And I've been teaching here in UMass for about 10 years now. So time flies. Nice meeting everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, AJ. Over to you, Kausalya.
Hi, hello everyone. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today. I'm pretty sure AJ and I are very excited to share a lot from our journey. I'm Kausalya Veerasingham. I'm currently attached to Intech Education College, UITM, and I was there in Ohio University in the year 2018 and 19, and we what I say. I am excited to share a lot more with you all later.
Thank you so much. And without further ado, I will hand this over now to AJ for his presentation.
All right. Hi, everyone. So for today, I'm dividing my presentation into pre, during, and post FLTA experience, right? Let's go with the pre-departure things. And these are the three things that I feel are the most important things that you need to consider or you need to do before your actual trip to the US. So number one is you have to find your own accommodation. Now, this depends on the surat tawaran or the offer letter that you receive. For me, Ohio University did not provide me with accommodation. And I think Miss K also did not receive any offer for accommodation. So we had to find our own accommodation. So what I did was trying to find accommodation where I kept in touch with the current FLTA during that time while I was looking for accommodation. And he recommended me University Commons. Uh, but I did search for other alternatives as well. So how do you search for other alternatives? You can go on Reddit. That's what I did. Basically, trying to find any realtors, any registered and what's the word? Registered and qualified realtors. And from there, I searched a little bit more. And you have to consider your budget as well. So for during my time, I was given a stipend of $1,350, and that would be to sustain you for the whole month. And so when you try to find your accommodation, you need to find accommodation that basically fits the budget. All right, so that's very, very important because I think almost half of your stipend would go to your rent. Um, but the good thing about renting in the US is that they will provide you some of the rooms, some of the places will provide you with um, all their basic necessities. Like for example, for my experience with University Commons, I paid $450 and the place included washing machine, dryer, fridge, internet, and all those things. So all of these things are included within that 450 US dollars, right? So besides Reddit, you can also go on Craigslist. I know we Malaysians don't use this, but Americans do. Sometimes they post, you know, um, trying to find people to apa namanya untuk sewa the room, rent the room, and then I think there's this culture in the US where you can continue someone's rent. What do you call that? Miss K, do you remember? Do you you remember what it's called. Like there's a word for it, but I forgot.
Yeah.
Um,
Lease, sublease. You can
sublease. Yeah, you can sublease someone's room when they go away and stuff like that. So you can do that as well in the US. Again, it's very important that you check with the local realtors, check for the authenticity of the realtors providing you with the rent, because there are cases of people being scammed from their deposit money. So very, very important. So you have to ask your realtor once you got the place, you have to ask them whether they need the deposit now, or whether you can pay the deposit when you're there. So you have to ask those questions and make sure you read the fine print of your lease agreement when you sign it, because in the US they're very, very particular. So if you put on a set amount of date for you to arrive and then leave, you have to stay within those dates. You cannot like stay for another week or for another day. Even few days cannot, because like they will be very, very particular. So you have to pay extra amount if you want to stay more. So you have to be aware of the dates that you are entering and the dates that you are leaving the state. All right. So I think that's all. You can ask me more questions about the accommodation later on. Number two, keep in constant communication with the coordinator or host university. Usually the host university would contact you once they've selected you. So for Bahasa Melayu, usually there'll be only one university that will select FLTAs from Malaysia, and that would be Ohio University. Um, except for this one particular year where my colleague actually got sent to another university somewhere else. I forgot. Um, but yeah, for my case, my coordinator was very, very communicative with me. Like she kept in touch with me, giving me pointers, uh, giving me heads up on, transportation, stuff like that. We did even have like virtual meetup sessions between me, her, and the current FLTA during that time, right? So again, it's very, very important that you keep in touch with her or whoever the coordinator might be, so that you can know what you need to expect, especially when you land in the US. Like, for example, if you get attached to Ohio University, you need to figure out how do you want to get to the airport to the university, because like it's going to be like almost 2 hours from the airport to Athens, Ohio. So you need to figure out with her whether she's picking you up or whether you're taking the bus and so on and so forth. So these are some of the finer details that you can work out with your coordinator um, once you received the offer to become an FLTA there. And number three, this is the most important thing. Pack a lot of cultural items and teaching materials. You don't have to bring a lot of clothes or personal items. Just keep it to the minimal. You can buy them once you get paid in the US, because this stuff that kind of cheap, especially when it comes to clothing. Um, but this is very, very important for you to, be able to, you're going to participate in a lot of cultural activities, cultural things. So make sure that you pack a lot of these cultural items, like keychains, kain ke, kain tenun ke, batik ke, um, and then whatever things that you need for your class activities and stuff like that, like mencanting batik ke, congkak ke, whatever, make sure you bring them, because most of the classes will definitely focus on those things. Um, make sure you learn how to cook if you don't know how to cook, because that skill comes in handy. And of course, for me, right, I don't dance, so I had to learn a Vidayo dance, which is basically the simplest traditional dance. So those things, those cultural related things, you need to learn before going to the US. So make sure you sharpen those skills before going there, because you are basically a cultural ambassador. You'll most likely be the only Malaysian that they'll ever encounter in their whole entire lives. So you have to keep in mind that, oh, you're the only person that will link them to Malaysia. Because Athens, Ohio, it's like, I would say like it's like a small town. And when I say small town, like people basically know everyone. So most of them, they don't really honestly get out even out of Ohio. They're just there within Ohio. They don't even go out to other states in the US, what more to say other countries. So that's why you need to pack a lot of cultural things, so that you'll be able to provide them with the experience. Um, because like I said, they won't be going anywhere else besides in Ohio. So again, you're the only link. So try your best to be the best cultural ambassador that you can be. All right. So that's pretty much for pre-departure. So we'll move on to top three things during the experience itself. So number one is making friends and connections. Um, Start off with your own FLTA group. So when I was sent to the US, I was very close with Thai FLTA. We still remain friends until today. We gossip a lot. So building that connection is really important because you would can't help to feel alone during that particular period of time. There will be times when you feel like you're very, very alone. So having a strong support group, having a strong core group is important to keep your emotional and mental sanity alive, that kind of thing. And how do you make friends? You can, they will have a lot of cultural related things, university related events. Um, and if you are the type of person who's an extrovert, you can go explore the bars, the hiking scene or whatever, because Athens, Ohio is a very scenic place. You can join a lot of other groups as well and just make friends from there. You are going to go for classes as well. You're going to learn about American history. You are going to learn about American curriculum. So within those classroom settings, you can also try to make friends. There will also be a lot of international students that you can be friends with. So don't worry, especially Indonesian. So you can actually build connections with them. Um, and I think most importantly, what I find refreshing about my experience that I befriended the locals. Locals meaning Americans. So I basically, befriended them, and then they brought me places, brought me to their home for Thanksgiving, uh, helped me explore other places as well. So yeah, making friends and connections is very, very important. Number two, immerse in the culture and explore the states. The US might not seem to be the most cultured country in the world, because all the things we know about the US is shown on popular media, right? Popular culture and stuff like that. But once you're there, you'll start to realize that there's more than meets the eye when it comes to America. And it's totally the opposite of what we experience here in Malaysia. So, for example, every time you enter a shop or every time you go to a cafe or food place, people definitely ask you, "Hey, how are you? How you doing?" and stuff like that. So it's kind of like surprising at first for you because like every single shop you enter, you'll have to respond the same thing over and over again. Um, so those are some of the little things that you'll find different when you live in the US. What else? What else can I remember about US culture, especially in small towns? Small town people, they're very, very nice, um, especially ones that live within a campus setting, because Athens, Ohio is a huge university and is surrounded by a small town. So again, like I said, people know each other, and they're not afraid to ask you questions. They're not afraid to show their curiosity about your country and stuff like that. Um, so make sure you know about your country and obviously try to sell your country to them. Um, yeah, immerse yourself in the culture. Go to Halloween parties. They have this Halloween party in the main street. So I participated in that. Um, I participated in Thanksgiving. Went to a person's house. I was invited to go there and experience the meal. They even prepared a halal meal for me, knowing my food restrictions. So you can just voice out whatever concerns you may have, and they'll try to accommodate to you. And to them, that's totally fine because the more you speak out, the more you mention about your insecurity, not to say insecurities, mention about your food restrictions, cover, they'll try to accommodate. So you don't have to worry about that. Also, Christmas is a big thing, but if you're not invited to someone's house or home, it can be a little bit empty. Oh, talking about Thanksgiving, the university also prepares meals during Thanksgiving. So the whole campus will be out, but there will be a few people who will stay in campus and they will have this Thanksgiving meals where you can have Thanksgiving with other international students. So that's pretty cool. Moving on to exploring the States. Now, this is very, very important. This is the key. So make sure like you plan your tutti well while you're in the States. Like I was fortunate enough to meet someone in the US who took me around states around apa namanya, around Ohio, and then I also went to LA, which was like 5 hours away. I went to New York twice. It's crazy. Because again, this is probably your only chance to go to the US. So you have to explore as much as possible. Um, Especially in this current world that we're living in, it's pretty apa namanya, pretty fragile kan. So once you're there, take every opportunity that you can to explore as much as you can. Every state has different culture, every state has different apa namanya, has different personality. So just plan your schedule well, and then um yeah, explore the US. The tickets are quite cheap if you buy them early. That, like, for example, when I bought the tickets to LA, it was like $250 return. So that was really, really cheap. But it's with Spirit Airlines, which is like a class lower than AirAsia. But you know, you live only once, so you gotta take that chance. So again, don't worry about money. Money will come to you from whatever source. You just need to just take the chance and travel, um, and see the states in a whole different land. And number three, this is very, very important as well. Be prepared to do a lot of culture related activities and programs. And I tell you, there's going to be a lot. Like my coordinator, Madam Fon, she lined up all the cultural things that we needed to do, from presentations to dance to going to schools to presenting wayang kulit. I've never been to Kelantan. I've never seen a live wayang kulit performance before, and going to the US, that was my first experience handling wayang kulit, writing the script and all of those things. So you need to be again prepared for those things. All right, it's going to be very mentally, physically, emotionally taxing, but you have to remember that's what you're there for. Besides teaching, you're supposed to introduce Malaysian culture to the audience at Ohio University. So you cannot basically complain. You can, like, you could just say um talk to your friends about it if you're tired and stuff like that. But these are some of the things that you wajib do, that you have to do. Um that's why you need to bring a lot of cultural, like not cultural items, so that you can display them on the table, um and talk about them as you introduce the course. Yeah, during the beginning of the semester, because Malaysia is not really as well known as Indonesia in the United States. So basically, during the start of the semester, they would have this open table where they would display all the things that you brought from Malaysia, and you have to introduce the Bahasa Melayu course that you will be teaching. So, yeah, be prepared to do those things. So that's the first cultural related thing that you need to do, and then you have to teach your class, your Bahasa Melayu class, and then um, you have to perform dances. You have to teach dance to world dance stuff. You have to host then cultural world culture day. So many things that I cannot touch on right now because I'm like apa, mengejar masa. But um, if you are picked later on to be an FLTA, you can just ask me directly what you need to prepare. But again, be prepared to do a lot of cultural related things. Right? Next, post top three things. So number one is do post scholarship things. Um, your report, make sure you hand in your report to IIE, and then to Macy as well, I think. And if you are employed to your university or school, make sure you prepare all the necessary documents before you enter Malaysia again. The IIE would definitely send you reminders to fill in a few forms before you land in Malaysia. They will ask you questions about when you are you going back, if you're staying back, why, and stuff like that. So you just have to be prepared for those things. Um, the crazy thing is the tax. It's not crazy lah, but it's very tedious. It's not as friendly as Malaysian tax. It's very complicated to me, right? Niske? It's very complicated, right? Doing the US tax.
Probably because it was our first time, so it was like a bit tedious. Like we can see that some of the things we didn't understand, and then you have to write and ask. Yeah. So we were not sure what we were doing.
That's so true. But don't worry, IIE will guide you all the way. They'll send you like even like apa namanya, the to-do list and step by step. So you just follow the list they send you and you'll be fine. So you'll be doing two taxes. So one is for the year that you're in, and one is the year after your stint in the US. So make sure you do your taxes. They will kejar you. And number two, remain active with Macy and Fulbright, like we are doing right now. So be prepared to make some time for Macy slash Fulbright, and meet some of the alumni from across Malaysia. And if they do come to your state, try to join in the festivities or dinners or whatever they're hosting that particular month. And number three, be prepared to share your experience with others like we are doing right now. So while you're there in the US, make sure you document as many things as possible, videos, pictures, um, social media posts, anything, um, so that once you arrive back to Malaysia, you can sell this experience to others. Because again, this is like a once in a lifetime thing. Not a lot of people get to do what you are going to do. Like, how many people have you met that said, "Oh, I taught DM in a university in the US," you know? So, like I said, there's not many Malaysians in the US as there are in the UK or Europe in general. So, you'll be one of the selected few to be able to do this experience and become a Malaysian ambassador. So, take that opportunity to document yourself over there. Even if you're not a social media person, you have to do it. And yeah, again, once in a lifetime experience, so you have to document it. All right, I think that's all that I am sharing today. So here are some of the pictures that I took. It took me a while to select which pictures I wanted to highlight. So the first picture of me in Baju Melayu is me at the mid-year conference. So my mid-year conference was held in November at Washington, D.C. So it was like I think a 3 to 4 day conference where you have to attend workshops. You can also give workshops to people. Let's say if you have something interesting you want to share, you can also give workshops. But I was just there as an attendee. So I attended the workshops. I also took some time out to explore Washington, D.C. and its surrounding areas. They will also organize trips for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Um, Again, I went out alone exploring, but if you have friends, you can just um do it on your own. Okay. And then the second picture is the one with me, the Thai FLTA, and that's Madam Fon, she's the coordinator, and that's her husband. And then that's the culture table that I told you just now, that you have to basically inform everyone, hey, come to my class, join my class. This is what you will learn, the kind of thing. It kind of gives me PTSD because I don't like selling stuff.
That was a
But
challenge.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then that was a challenge. Yeah, yeah, because you're competing against other more prominent languages like Thai and Indonesia. Yeah, so they're more interested in those countries rather than Malaysia. Malaysia's like very, it's sandwich, I would say. I would, they ask me, where is Malaysia? And I would say sandwich between
Singapore.
Thailand and Indonesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are often overlooked, that kind of thing. But yeah, if you bring a lot of cultural stuff with you and you're able to like, sell the one, they'll be super interested. And then that's me. If you're a fan of Friends, the sitcom, that's the apartment building where Ross, Monica, not Ross, sorry, Monica, Rachel, Joey, and Chandler live. So that's the outline of the building. The street there. When you watch the series, they'll go to the building. Yeah, that's the building there. So it's one of my proudest moments, like living apa namanya, like living my real life fantasy graph falls. It was during winter and there was not a lot of people, so I get to take photos when there's usually there'll be a lot of people, but I managed to take a few photos where I was there alone, and it was a very beautiful scenic place, one of the greatest natural wonders that I've ever seen. Um and yeah, these are the kind of experience that I'm talking about. So make sure that you open yourself up to these experiences. Don't shy away from them. Embrace what you are um going to experience, and just have fun. All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, AJ. Now over to Kasalia.
Yes. Hi, thanks, AJ. Thanks, Lena. So I'm going to add on to what AJ has said. Probably a lot of similarities, but I'm going to find the difference out of the similarities now. As AJ said earlier, of course, going to the US is already probably a one-time experience, a one-time chance for many of us here. So if you ever get a chance, make sure that you get to put away whatever judgments or thoughts about the US and keep your mind open so that when you go there, you'll be more, you'll be able to accept more of the culture of the United States culture, the people there, and your first impression might be different itself. And also know about who are your, you are supposed to be alliancing with IIE even before you arrive the United States. So keep in touch, know your national Fulbright team. So here you will have to be engaged with Macy, and also there you have to be connected with IIE. And you will have to, of course, in Macy, like we will arrange for pre-departure orientation and things like this, like sharing session and all. And when you go to the United States, you will have orientations by IIE, and also you will also need to join the university's orientation. So you may have two orientations to join. On top of that, you will be also getting the chance to meet fellow FLTAs from around the world. Like in the photo that you can see that was my orientation photo where this was happening in University of Oregon. So my host university was University of Ohio University. So it was a different place, different state. It was in Oregon. So you get to meet a lot of other FLTAs from around the world. And last but not least, in initial cultural adjustment, like maybe for the first week, you might have some challenges in adjustment, probably the weather, the food, the way people talk to you, the way people greet to you. Like what AJ said just now, like, when you just walk into the cafe, they will say, hi, good morning. Like, don't get panic or don't be afraid to say or respond to them. Like, just greet them, and that's absolutely fine. And it's very normal. It's normal, and it's welcoming over there. And the photo over there is also the same the same conference that AJ attended, like mid-year conference in DC. So that's the same photo that I took as well. And the other one is at the entrance of Ohio University. Now, the Washington DC Media Conference, it's an amazing opportunity to network, to build community, like to meet friends and to engage more, because those friendship may last longer. Like I'm still in touch with so many friends till date. And a lot of them, in fact, attended my wedding. So it's like you create friends for lifetime, international friends especially. So keep in touch with them. And next slide, Lina. Hi, Lina. Okay, all right. So what is the expectation what are the expectations of the stakeholders? All right, so the US host institution will expect you to join the cultural events and be an ambassador for your country. So if you're representing Malaysia, of course, you have to be an ambassador for Malaysia and participate in events and engage in cultural activities. You have to be reliable, be professional, and keep your professionalism with students, and attend classes at the same time as a student, because you have to enroll in American studies or American related subjects, and also a subject of your favorite that you wish to study, anything of what you want to study. So what happens is, like, you will be studying at the same time you'll be teaching. So you have to do both. You have to make sure you have to balance both in a professional way. And Fulbright and IIE will expect you to be a cultural ambassador, of course, and monthly reporting. You have to write reports. Sometimes IIE will ask you a semester report, and sometimes they will write to you and ask if everything is okay. So you have to report back to them. And most importantly, you have to report to your supervisor in order to be assured that you are there and everything is okay. And participation in events, like if IIE writes to you or anything that they need you to participate, they will ask you whether you'll be interested. So by all means, if you are interested, please join and take the opportunity, because you will be recognized. So take the opportunity, that I would say. And home country embassy and Fulbright commission. So I was also, while I was there in Ohio University, I knew there was something happening in the embassy of Malaysia, and I wanted to be connected to and close, wanted to be close to home. So what I did, my Malaysian friends in Ohio University and we all took a trip to DC, and we went to the embassy and participated in embassy events. So we also did that. So that will be making you feel less homesick and closer to home, and like a break from your campus life, just a short trip, and then you come back and then continue your campus life as usual. And then you will also have post-program contributions, like how AJ has mentioned, and we will meet after you come back, and Macy will encourage you, and you should be joining Fulbright Alumni Association Malaysia FARM. So we will be encouraging you to be active and participative, just like how we are sharing. We will be asking you to share your story, and we will talk to you, and we will be keeping in touch. So so I just want to share a photo that the photos what you're looking at now. You can see that that's those two girls over there. Those are my students. They actually presented about Malaysian batik, because you have to be very clear and tell people about how Malaysian batik is different than Indonesian batik, because we have our very special batik. I did a batik workshop during the cultural engagement session. Like we did a cultural workshop, and the university students participated in the cafe in one of the open space that the university provided us. And I also participated with the other Fulbrighters, who were not FLTAs, but Fulbrighters from all over the world, who are in Ohio University. So I also joined them and engaged in their activities. And also some of the pioneers, I met some of the pioneers of Ohio University, and we engaged in so many other involvements. All right, next slide, Lena. Okay, so so AJ has mentioned earlier about how we will be given stipend, and the stipend is sufficient. So while you are having enough money, don't forget to plan, because sometimes you may think that you have enough money and then you will be tempted to spend on something. You instead of shopping, I would say, let's try to use the money for gaining more experiences and valuable travel experiences and participations. So the stipends, make sure you have it enough for your monthly living allowances, your book allowances, travel. And on top of that, I also want to share that I did participate. I did go and attend theaters, because I am interested in literature. So I went to a few theaters. I did the English department, and also of course, because when students are doing it on campus, you have to give them a little bit of token. So you have to pay them and get the tickets, and then you support the event. So you need to use the money for that. So you can do that. And also there were a few times we had Broadway coming to Ohio University. I'm not sure AJ had that opportunity, but I watched a few Broadways in Ohio University, actually. Like they came to campus. No, oh, okay. So so it was like my favorite things. Like, so, and then I used the money for that as well. So these are things that you'll probably not have that chance to do in Malaysia. So take chance of that. and travel with your friends, make friends. If you're a lone ranger, then you do it on your own. If you are, you want to go with your friends, you meet Fulbrighters, right? So you can connect to them. I actually went on a trip with Fulbrighters. The one that you can see there, I went to Florida, Key West, and those friends are all my Fulbright friends, FLTA friends, but we were not from the same university. So it's like we met in the DC conference, and then we decided to like travel together, and then we just did it. And this was just once, and that's all. And then everybody went back to work, you know. So take chance on the travels if you can, and then your personal trips, and then also your groceries. If you like to cook, then you have to buy groceries. If you like to eat out, you have to buy. Then you have to look into it. So one of the different cultural experience that we gained, I think, is one thing is tipping. So every time when you eat out, you have to tip. So as a student, if you think you can't tip too much, then you have to reduce eating out or eating or dining out. Or you can choose to just buy back home and eat at home, like things like that. And of course, once you have arrived to university, you will be guided. IIE will guide you to open your bank account, and also you'll be given a bank card just for the stay for the 9 months, and you will have that bank card as your primary use, and your stipend will be going into the particular bank that you choose to. And be also careful to use the apps, choose the right app and download them and use them for your transactions or checking in on anything on using payments. I think that's all. Yeah. Anyway, that's Bobcat, Ohio University's mascot. All right. Okay. So community engagement and cultural exchange. So this is one of the best parts of FLTA program because we as cultural ambassadors for Malaysian studies, Malaysian language, we get to exhibit a lot of Malaysian culture. So participate with your friends in Ohio University, as well as if you can make some engagement with other friends, like or schools, like example, like what AJ said earlier, he went to the school. Like in my case, we were planning to go to the school, but we couldn't make it happen. So the ones who went after me, they did that. So what we did was instead we did a lot of workshops on campus. So that's fun. My supervisor, we all had the same supervisor. I think she's still there, right, AJ? All right. And the ones that I am the photo next to that is actually my fellow language instructors. And we hosted Indo night, also Malaysian night, and I was one of the hosts. And I had the chance to cook nasi lemak and Maggi goreng. I did a few dishes. I couldn't put all the photos in, but we did Malaysian Day. There were only a few Malaysians at that time when I was there. So we just with a small group, I still managed to do a Malaysian Day and engaged and got my international friends to join and indulge in our food. And also adding on, if you get a chance, please volunteer in local communities. Like for instance, I participated in one of the churches nearby, just to get the experience of how things are, how daily life, how's life in Athens, Ohio. And I participated in Halloween. I actually helped in community involvement of the church. I helped the church with donations, and we even did some programs and things like that, like community involvement. Whichever opportunity you get, you can participate in it. And of course, last but not least, International Education Week. There will be one week of international education where every international student will participate and make a great exchange of knowledge and culture. So please, we can take this chance to participate and also share our experiences and also about Malaysia. Next slide. Do I have another slide? Okay, yeah, that's all. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kasalia. So right now we're going to open the session, not the table, open the session to questions. Um, so does anyone have any questions for Kausalya and AJ and also myself? No? They were quite thorough. Okay, so just a reminder, if you have not started your application, please do start your application today. And if you have any questions, you can email us at Fulbright Malaysia. Fulbright is spelled with one L. Fulbright Malaysia at macy.org.my. If you want to get connected to any one of our alumni, um, you can also email me and I can connect you to our alumni. So I guess it's one question from Sarah is how many students did you teach during your stay there and was it hard to teach them? So I'll ask Kausala to answer that question first and then AJ, over to you.
Um, we in my first and second semester, we had about 5 students, and it was not very difficult to stay. It was not very difficult to actually teach them, because okay, I can't. Okay, let me put it like that, like this. Okay, teaching them is pretty much teaching a beginner or probably a basic Bahasa Malaysia. So it's like teaching someone with a lower level of someone who have not known anything about the language you're introducing to them. So if you are teaching in university level or in schools, you may have a bit of a challenge of teaching because you have been always teaching adult students like teens or young adults, and now you're also teaching young adults, but you might be teaching at a lower level, like their proficiency might not be very high. So lower proficiency. So you have to be very simple and straightforward and more engaging. So that's why AJ said we need to get a lot of cultural props and materials to bring along with us in order to help us. AJ, is there anything that you want to add?
So for me, I taught 2 students during the first semester, and the one of the students actually continued to the second semester, and in the second semester, I got 2 more students. So what you need to realize, number one, is that these students, they're actually really, really interested to learn. So it's not difficult to teach students who are actually very, very interested. They would ask you questions, they would actually pay attention in the classroom. And if you ask them to do a task, they would fulfill it to the best of their abilities. So for me, I think my advice would be to just take it slow with them. You're teaching them really, really basic things. So don't like go mengajar pantun ke syair ke apa ke all those things. You can teach them those things, but start with the basic things where it's like your name, what you like to eat, how to say numbers, all those things. So if you get selected, I think it'd be best if you like ask your fellow teachers, especially Bahasa Melayu teachers, or your Bahasa Melayu sorry, Bahasa Melayu friends, but your friends who are teaching Bahasa Melayu, how do they teach foreigners Bahasa Melayu, basic Bahasa Melayu, to just get some ideas. I would also recommend you to get some reading materials that has some activities that you can adopt and adapt into your teaching. And again, this is not like a one size fits all situation. Like I could provide you with my slides, but once you start teaching, you realize, oh, this doesn't work. So you have to be prepared to make changes to the curriculum and syllabus. And remember, other people, other FLTAs, they are actually real assistants. They're just there to sit in the classroom and assist whenever they're needed to. But us, Bahasa Melayu teachers, we actually need to teach. We need to prepare the materials. We need to prepare the syllabus. We need to prepare the exams and quizzes.
Yeah.
So all of these things you need to like really take into account and make it part of your weekly planning or monthly planning. Kan? It's okay. Yeah.
But AJ, I think you guys already, when you were there, because when I was there, we didn't have any material, so I actually prepared my own. I created my own syllabus and everything. But I heard Dean and you, like, you guys already had the profile, like, file prepared for
Yeah,
each course? Yes. Okay.
yes, we do have it. So use that as a guideline, basically. But again, like I mentioned, that some of the things that after I finish teaching them, or after I'm done with the semester, or I was done with the semester, then I realized, oh, these are the things that I should have taught during
Nice.
that particular week instead of, bringing it to later weeks. So, or these are some of the things that I've missed out. So, again, once you are there and you start looking at the syllabus, you can make amends to those syllabus. All right.
All right.
Thanks. I think for those who are going out of the country for the first time or going to the US for the first time, what was the biggest culture shock that you had experienced when you were there, and how did you deal with it?
Okay.
I'll let AJ answer this first.
I really honestly don't remember the biggest culture shock. I think the biggest culture shock to me was how friendly people were. I don't know if they're like A-class friendly or they're forced to be friendly because they work in services. But being in a small town, I realized that, oh, these people are much friendlier than Malaysians. I don't know why people say Malaysians are friendly, but when I went to the US, people are like, "Hi, how are you? You look great today," and stuff like that. Like just random people. And like if you wear your traditional outfit, they'll be like, "Hey, what are you wearing? This is interesting," stuff like that. So if you're not like an extrovert, if you're an introvert, you'll probably have a little bit of a difficult time to adjust. But it actually helps build your confidence and character a little bit. As even when I went to like bigger towns like LA and New York, people were actually they were less friendly, but they were still nice. They still tolerate you, and they don't judge you according to yours. I didn't experience any racism and stuff like that, so I was very fortunate in that sense. Like if I go out to like a restaurant alone and stuff like that, people actually are curious, like, hey, where are you from? You don't look like you're from here, and I have to explain to them stuff like that. They think I'm mostly Filipino, which is kind of nice. They also thought I was Mexican for some reason, probably because of my black hair and my eyes. So yeah.
Over to you, Kasalia.
Okay, first thing first, punctuality. Because oh my God, I actually learned a lot. And also I actually appreciate that I have learned and I got this from this experience because people in America, like when they have the Americans especially, like they appreciate time. They actually respect other people's time. And I have seen that in almost every place. Um, in fact, even the flights, I rarely see flights getting delayed, but there are delayed flights with unexpected circumstances. However, it rarely happens. Events start on time, people come early, so I really liked that culture. And I actually have three actually. So the second one is tipping, because in Malaysia we never tip. And for me as a student and as someone who's relying on the stipend and going out and eating, it's like, and then you have to tip. You have to think about tipping about, I think, how many percent was that? 10%, is it, AJ?
It depends on the tier. They have a tier, right?
Yeah.
5%, 7%, 10, 15, 20% is the highest.
Yeah. So it's like I want to indulge in food and I want to explore different kind of food, but at the same time I have to think about tipping. It's like sometimes the meal that we buy is not that expensive, and then you still have to tip for that meal and on top of that. So if you go in a group, then probably it's a great idea. Like you can share the tips instead of going alone and eating alone. So that was one thing that I actually encountered. And last but not least, is about how Americans have boundaries in certain contexts of discussion, like race and religious and personal preference and all that. Like I see they have some boundaries, like among my American friends, my international friends, I noticed who have been there for very long, I don't see them talking about race and religion very openly, unless if you become closer and then you have things to share about, and then they talk about it. Unless if not, they don't. So in this context, I always get this question like, are you an Indian? Because I look more like an Indian, and then I have to say them I'm not. I'm in this case, like they think that I'm an Indian from India, so I have to tell them like, no, I'm Indian from Malaysia. So I took that opportunity to actually tell how Malaysia is multi-racial and multicultural. So when they ask me about who am I and like where do I come from and things like that.
Yeah, I want to add, so the things that yeah, now that I think back, number one is in class, you have to participate. So if the professor asks you a question or asks the class a question and no one responds, if you feel the obligation to answer, you have to answer. And please feel free to voice out your opinions, because they value it a lot. They really, really value it. They would actually have an exchange with you, and sometimes they would ask you to stay back in class to have like further discussion with you. So don't be afraid to speak out in during classroom. And number two is the breakfast culture. They have really, really bad breakfast culture. In Malaysia, it's like, you have all kinds of food. There it's like donuts and stuff. And
Donuts.
even if you attend conferences, right, they say like, oh, we have refreshments. And the refreshments is not what we have here in Malaysia. The refreshments is like biscuits and cheese and uncooked vegetables. So you basically have to eat that, right? You
You do
remember the
know,
meals?
you do now know, right? Malaysians are known for we live to eat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we live to eat. Yeah, that's
We,
right.
we don't
And
eat to live, we live to eat. So
and
you cannot compare America to here when it comes to food. I
and
think
I
their food is
Yeah, but
much more
AJ,
healthier breakfast.
oh my God, the coffee is just so good. It doesn't
mm,
matter. I think not only coffee shops, like not only like famous coffee shops, like any coffee shops in the United States, I think they are really good. Even McDonald's coffee is very good.
yeah, prepared with love.
Local coffee shops, they were really good.
Yeah, support donkey coffee.
Yes.
One of the questions I wanted to ask, I think y'all didn't cover, was when y'all were in the US, did y'all have to do any coursework? Did y'all join any classes? And if yes, what courses or did y'all take? And the second question, follow-up question is, how many times a week did y'all teach your classes? So, Kasalia, over to you.
Okay. I think I did mention earlier, like we have to enroll in classes and become students ourselves. So I took up two courses in each semester, so it's like total of about four. And additionally, I also joined the computer assisted language learning, and I was also teaching and also studying at the same time with the English department. Um, I took up literature. I took up research method. I took up courses on I can't remember the other two. I remember American cultural studies. I did American cultural studies. There was a few that we can actually, but one of it is definitely something related to American studies. That's for sure. And I took on American studies and at the same time English literature and pedagogy. So that's what I did. And for what was the other question, Lina?
How many times a week was your
Oh,
classes?
studying. Okay.
Well, the one that you were teaching, the
I
Bahasa Melayu classes.
um was it almost hours, AJ?
I think it's like 3 times a week.
3 times. So 3 times 2 hours each, right? Like
Yeah, correct.
every two
No, it wasn't even 2 hours. I think it was like about an hour,
an hour plus.
like that. I think an hour plus, yeah. Yeah, I think
Almost
around that.
3 times at least we meet. But the very nice thing is like in the United States, like we get to meet students even after we are done with class, and we
Mm.
talk about our subject, and we share a lot of experiences, and like what AJ said, one of their project was to participate in the Indo night, and uh they have to wear pantun, like they actually created a pantun, and they had to do riddle and engage the audience and get answer. So and I actually showcased Malaysian stamps, so while they were presenting. So that was one of their project in the semester that they had to do. So things like that we actually worked on.
As for me, I took the first semester I took women history, American women history before 1885, which is a history class. The professor is actually a very well-known professor. She's a very well-known professor on American women history in the US. So her class is very, very fun. So we were treated like a postgrad student. So we had to do extra reading, and for the extra reading, we would meet up with her and we'd have like a discussion over food, which is nice. She even prepared us some cakes and sandwiches before when we had that discussion. So it was fine. And then we had some class on pedagogy. I actually continued the pedagogy class to the second semester, and then the second semester I took foreign something related to film because I followed the other Fulbright guy that I was close with. So I learned about film and how they're made and stuff like that. So that was pretty fun.
Oh, cool. Okay, so it's now 4:01. Don't want to take up too much of your time. I would like to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon.